Hello, everyone. Welcome to the African Liberty Monthly Webinar. My name is Andrew Munganga, the Communications Consultant at African Liberty. As usual, Ibrahim Babatunde Anoba is not going to be with us today, and I will take it up. Today we have a very interesting discussion and a very fantastic guest, and we are going to discuss a very important discussion. But before I dive straight into the discussion, I want to welcome everyone that is here. We are very excited to actually have you. If it's okay with you, please, you can just indicate in the chat box your name and the country where you're coming from. And if you're coming from an institution, you can just indicate that. So today's topic is something that is really close to our heart at African Liberty. We're looking at the freedom of movement and also the role of the African media. And our guest today is someone very special. Yeah, his name is Joseph Phiri, a journalist at the Zambia National Broadcasting Corporation with over 8 years of experience in the media industry. Throughout his career, he has garnered more than 10 prestigious media awards, reflecting on his commitment to excellence in journalism. And just this year in June 2024, Joseph was honored by the International Labour Organization for his outstanding reporting on labor migration in the Southern African region. More recently, in September, the Media Institute for Southern Africa, MISA, recognized his work with the Best Governance Reporting Award. Just how amazing to have such an important guest for us today or tonight, whatever time that you are joining this webinar from. So Joseph, you're most welcome to today's webinar.
Thank you so much, Andrew.
Yeah, you're welcome. We are excited to have you here discussing this very important topic about the role of the media in upholding labor migration and also the aspect of freedom of movement. So just to touch a few, or just to give you, our audience, and just to open up your minds on what we're going to discuss today. So today's discussion will examine how the media influences public perception of labor migration, informing public discussions and also advocating for migrant workers' rights. This webinar will also explore the media's responsibility in promoting balanced reporting, highlighting issues such as exploitation and addressing challenges like biased and ethical dilemmas. Right. So maybe before we dive into the real discussion, Joseph, would you kindly explain to us what freedom of movement is and how do we connect this to labor migration? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Andrew. And I'm not so sure whether to say good evening, good afternoon to the participants, because we're sharing different time zones. And I have to make mention that, well, you and I, Andrew, we are from the same country. And we're having issues with power, which has also affected mobile services for the phones. And I'm using my phone to hotspot the laptop that I'm using for this special webinar. And I'll try by all means to be as brief as I possibly can be. And I'll also try by all means to use a very, very direct or simple language as well as examples so that all of us can be in the same bus. And I'll be very happy to take questions, opinions, thoughts on whatever issues I'll be talking about. So with that said, maybe we might as well try to first of all look at what labor migration is, because this is very important. And I think if we address what labor migration is, I think we have a very, very good starting point. Like I said, that I will try to be as simple as I possibly can be. So according to the International Labour Organization, labor migration is defined as the movement of persons from their home state to another state for purposes of employment. And as we are talking today, an estimated 86 million persons working in a country other than their country of birth or country of origin. There are a number of reasons that that can be outlined or brought forward insofar as migration is concerned. Other people migrate to other countries because of maybe displacement, could be because of climate change. Others, it could be political instability. And when they go to their country of a destination, they start now from the scratch, of course, with working hand in hand with the relevant authorities such as the ILO, UNHCR, as well as the office of the government offices in those respective countries. And you might as well want to know that it is not an easy undertaking for refugees, former refugees, expatriates, asylum seekers to ply their trade in these countries of destination because of a good number of factors. For instance, Andrew, well, I'm going to be you'll be a point of reference, because at least for now, I know that there is you. Okay, others didn't have the chance to say that because of time limitations. That is still okay. Yeah, Andrew, if you're coming from Congo, or let's say you're coming from Nigeria as an expatriate or as a refugee or an asylum seeker, you get necessary documentation in Zambia. And then me, I'm already a resident of Zambia. And then we are working in the same office. Trust you me, if I see you progressing or you have better qualifications, I'll try by all means to make your life miserable so that obviously you're exposed. And then you are, by the way, Andrew, feel free to chip in so far as asking questions is concerned. I could be answering a lot of questions in a go, you know. I'm employed
it's okay.
I'm employed
it's okay.
to talk.
We are actually, we're actually enjoying the flow, so you can keep on going.
Great. So, like I was saying, you find that this person who is a refugee, an expatriate, an asylum seeker, a former refugee, they have all the necessary credentials in terms of them getting that position, that work. But because I feel that I'm more entitled than that person, I'm going to start fighting for that person. And then I'm fighting that person. This is the time that the media comes in now to say, look, we are all human beings here. What's fundamental is respecting the rule of law as well as human rights. By virtue of someone having the necessary documentation, they can work in any other government departments. And by the way, Zambia is actually implementing the integration system. And what this means is that if you are a refugee, you are an asylum seeker, you are an expatriate, or you would like to be staying in Zambia, obviously after meeting certain conditions, you are going to be integrated into the Zambia national system without any problems. But of course, as we delve into this discussion, you will actually discover some of the things that are happening in the country which are not pleasing insofar as labor migration is concerned. And that takes me to, I think, the number one question, that how can the media ensure accurate and balanced reporting on labor migration without reinforcing negative stereotypes? Andrew, as well as everyone that is listening to this webinar, you might want to know that many other times when refugees, asylum seekers, expatriates are used as scapegoats during global recessions, anything that happens insofar as the economic affairs of the country concerned, the number one scapegoats will be the refugees, the expatriates, the asylum seekers. But of course, that is not the way it should be. The media can play a critical role in shaping the narrative around labor migration by focusing on a balanced, evidence-based approach that humanizes migrant experience, avoids sensationalism, and provides a refined perspective. By this, we can look at maybe a few examples like highlighting positive contributions which these people make. That is the refugees, the expatriates, asylum seekers, and the former refugees. And also, number two, we as a media can avoid generalization. It's essential to avoid blanket statements that might lead to stereotyping, using language that respects the individuality of migrants. Also helps avoid grouping them as homogeneous or other, and reduces biases and assumptions about their behavior or intentions. And again, Andrew, you might want to, as a journalist, to provide a context under which you are reporting. Reporting accurately and without any biases can benefit the masses, the communities, because they are going to appreciate the real story, the real picture, as well as the real situations under which those asylum seekers are going. So I think it's very important as a journalist to stick to some of the principles that I've mentioned without injuring these migrants.
So I'm going to ask you to hold your thought there, Joseph. And for everyone that is joining us, you're most welcome. We are so glad to actually have you. With me is Joseph, a journalist from the Zambia National Broadcasting Corporation. So it's so much difficult to interview a journalist because they all know all the corners. But yeah, I'm so privileged to have him be our guest today. Now, talking about stereotypes, okay? You've mentioned on how the media can actually be very accurate and balanced in reporting on labor migration without reinforcing negative stereotypes. Okay, so would you probably just give us a few examples? I know you mentioned some of the examples, but I want you to also maybe touch on the aspect of freedom of movement. You see, we have people from Africa that are going into Europe, okay, using other means. They do not use an aeroplane going to Europe. They don't use maybe a legal kind of movement for them to actually go into Europe. At the end of the day, they get to lose their lives because they used either the ocean and all those kind of things. Do you have any examples of such case studies? Has the media in Africa, reported such incidences? Because we're looking at the aspect of being balanced in reporting.
Well, there are a number of examples that I can cite, and I'm hoping against all hopes that by the end of this webinar, I should be able to bring to the table some of those examples with the one of the most recent stories coming from Kenya. But you might want to know that the International Organization has been actively promoting freedom of movement in Africa as part of its border mission to facilitate fair labor migration, protect migrant workers, and encourage economic integration across the continent. This is so because, Andrew, remember that we are talking about people that are going to use their skills, their qualifications to contribute to the country of destination. By the way, there are terms that are used insofar as labor migration is concerned. So most of the times you hear journalists or experts using country of origin, country of destination, country of origin, just these two terms. So country of origin is used when you're referring to the country where a person is coming from, and then country of destination, where they are now living and obviously earning a life. And like I was saying, freedom of movement for labor is a priority for the African Union also and the International Labour Organization, as it aligns with sustainable development goals and seeks to reduce poverty, create decent work opportunities, and drive economic growth. Now, one thing that should be stressed, Andrew, is that, well, irrespective of your nationality, country coming from, your status, you want to go to another country. What is important, Andrew, is documentation. Once you have all the papers in place, and then you would like to make certain movements, you will be assisted with all the services, the conditions that you need to meet. Remember that we have UN agencies like UNHCR that is responsible for refugees, and we have ILO, we have government offices that are going to look into all these issues. So if you're coming from, let's say, Nigeria, Andrew, and you're coming to Zambia, in the first place, you're going to get all the necessary documentation from your country, unless you have other dubious or negative intentions as you embark on that on that journey, Andrew. That's why you find that people now not necessarily using the right channels of traveling, because if there is nothing that you're hiding, Andrew, you're moving from point A to point B with the purpose of maybe looking for greener pastures, which is common nowadays. You're going to follow all the laid down procedures, meet all the paperwork and conditions, so that even when you reach that kind of destination, you won't be in problems. But we are having a lot of people are losing their lives because they want to take the shortcut route. They don't want to meet certain conditions insofar as submitting paperwork or providing documentation is concerned. So those are the people that maybe use boats. There is nothing wrong, by the way, in using boats, Andrew. Let me just put it in simpler terms.
Maybe,
they want to use illegal means of moving from their country of origin to the country of destination, so that they can start a new life there and start maybe earning better.
Okay, interesting. Well, maybe also on the other side, we could look at how much restrictions are there for one to actually get documentation, move to the next country. Talk about the visa issues, how Africa has really become so much tough in ensuring that people move to the other countries. Oh, really sorry. I think I got some connectivity problems. But yeah, I'm going to ask you a question. Before I do that, everyone that is joining in, thank you so much. If you have any question, feel free to indicate in the chat, in the Q&A, and then we'll be able to ask you questions. So we only have like close to 15 minutes before, close to 20 minutes before we end this webinar. And I have the next question for you. Having talked about people moving to the other country in search of work and all those kind of things, then how do you feel, or should I say, what role can the media play in educating the public about the rights and protection available for migrant workers? Recently, we saw some attacks in the United Kingdom, where the local people there were trying to get rid of the Black people that have been staying there, working from there, and all those kind of things. But then, what role has the media played in educating the public, in letting them know about the rights that they have? Thank you.
Maybe you can repeat the question. I think I had challenges with you. You had challenges actually with network, so your line was breaking, Andrew.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. So I'm trying to find out what role can the media play in educating the public about the rights and protections that are available for migrant workers?
Well, that's an interesting question. I think Andrew, as well as everyone that is attending this webinar, let me try to single out a name so that I can make someone feel at home, because well, it's just too much of pronouncing Andrew's name. Okay, I've seen Ali who said good evening to everyone. It's my pleasure to attend. Okay, so let's imagine Ali, you're a person. In the first place, before anything, you're a human being. Okay, so regardless of the status, whether you're an asylum seeker, you're a refugee, you are an expatriate, you are a human being, and each and every person has their rights. So you know that the media, Andrew, Ali, as well as everyone that is listening to us, plays a very, very critical role in shaping society. So how can the media try to sensitize people on issues to do with labor migration? I think we need in the first place to go back to the laws, okay, without really making assumptions that these people that are coming, they cannot do the works that we are doing. They cannot enjoy the rights that we are doing. They can't take positions that we have as Zambians. Well, if the media can champion an agenda to say, regardless of the status for these people, I think we are all one. Hence, whatever benefits they are enjoying, the members of this country are enjoying, the origins of this country are enjoying. Even these asylum seekers, refugees can also enjoy those. I think at this moment, I might want to share with you a story that I'm currently working on. There is a doctor at Levi Mwanawasa University Teaching Hospital, and that's the second highest health institution in the country. So that doctor, Dr. Fred, is from Rwanda. He's been living in Zambia for over 20 years. And Andrew, as well as everyone, you know that when you are in a certain country for a certain good number of years, you can be given citizenship if you meet certain conditions. So what Dr. Andrew told me, Dr. Fred, 2 weeks ago, is that Joseph, I've been here in Zambia for over 20 years, but I haven't been granted any status, okay? So we are infringing on his rights in the first place, not to have citizenship. And what the media can do there is to actually talk to him, and then also I go to the Ministry of Home Affairs and Internal Security, and then I go to the Labor Commissioner's office, find out if this person is being treated right. If not, I'm going also to talk to institutions like the International Labour Organization, find out what how these people should be kept insofar as the meeting conditions are concerned. And what also Dr. Fred told me is that, Joseph, I don't enjoy certain rights or certain conditions of my employment. If I want to go on leave, I've seen my Zambian colleagues being given vacation leave money, but I have never gotten that money. So if you could talk to these relevant officers on my behalf, I will appreciate. And then, Joseph, there is also another friend of mine, Natasha, who is in Siavonga. Natasha has also been in Zambia for more than 15 years. She's been working for the Zambian government on a contractual basis. But every time her contract expires after 3 years, she's never given the gratuity. So if you can also highlight such issues, we are going to be grateful. So I spoke with Natasha, by the way, and Natasha gave me the details. I'm in touch with the Ministry of Health to see the sort of contracts that she's been having, and where the problem is insofar as giving her the gratuity is concerned. And I'm also in touch with the office of the Labor Commissioner to see if this is what the constitution, the laws of Zambia dictates. But overall, I think the media can play a very important role in telling the communities, the society, the corporate world that people that come from different parts of the world come and work in any given country should be respected, should enjoy the full freedom of their rights.
Exactly. Thank you very much for bringing that across. And yeah, wishing you the best as you are trying to help one of the affected. Okay, now for anyone that has a question, I think we have questions in the Q&A and in the chat. You can feel free to raise your hand, and then we'll give you the chance to speak. We have a few minutes before we end the session. Today's session is just going to be like 30 it was intended to be for 30 minutes only. And if you have any question, please, you can raise your hand and then we'll give you the chance to. Okay, so Abdullahi Adamu, please, you can.
Andrew.
Yes, Joseph.
Great. Maybe in the interest of time, for those that may not even manage to have their questions answered, their opinions accommodated, maybe just now you might want to share with them, with everyone, my email and my number. So even after we are done with this webinar, that conversation can proceed, because I think time was too short for us to exhaust each and everything that we prepared for.
Yes, actually, very true. So allow me just to accommodate one question. I know we only have a few minutes, but maybe we can have Abdullahi Adamu ask his question, and then the rest of the attendees could probably send an email if you allow us to share your email address with them.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
Okay. Good evening, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
My question goes like this. You know, in most of in democratic country, that every citizen has his legitimate right to express his opinion or to express himself. But what happened is that after, even there are some cases, some media houses has been closed because of expressing their, or they give listeners a freedom to express themselves. In that regard, how can a media tackle that? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Abdullahi Adam. Andrew, I can try to answer him quickly.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Abdullah, I think that is quite common. Even here in Zambia, we have such situations, especially if you are writing something negative about the government. I think it's now become common where most governments in Africa, as well as other parts of the world, they want to be praised. Any moment, any second you write something negative about them, they're going to shut you down. So the best way you can do, as a journalist, you have the power to change things. Okay, there are ways that you can find, ways and means that you can use to actually twist the government. You can talk to the affected person or parties, the way I always do. You talk to the affected person. You also accommodate someone from the government, and in other cases, you also bring in an independent voice, maybe coming from the civil society organizations, so that you are balanced. You've given all the people, all the sources enough space to talk and express their thoughts. If a refugee you are talking to accuses government, a government representative will be there to respond. And then there is also an independent voice who's going to weigh in on what has been said by the refugee or that migrant, as well as what the government has said. So if your reporting is coined in such a manner, you are going to avoid a lot of trouble, because we are talking about a balanced and impartial reporting, Abdullah. I hope I've assisted.
Thank you so much, Joseph. You know, we have quite a lot of people that are asking questions right now in the Q&A, and some are asking why we're not asking their questions. But due to time, apparently we have a very busy journalist who's supposed to attend to other duties. So what would be your concluding remarks, Joseph? Now we've talked about freedom of movement, migrant workers and how they get to benefit from their rights and all those kind of things. But what could be your concluding remarks to our discussion this evening? Thank you.
Great, Andrew. What I would say is that the media can play a pivotal role in educating the public about the rights and protections available to migrant workers, which can empower both the workers and their communities to better understand and uphold these rights. And also through these strategies that are there available, the media can play a critical role in informing, empowering, and mobilizing migrant workers and their communities, helping to create an informed public that values and protects migrants as well as everyone's rights, Andrew.
Thank you so much again, Joseph. So everyone that is joining us today, Joseph is a journalist at the Zambia National Broadcasting Corporation, and he has earned himself an award from the International Labour Organization for his outstanding reporting on labor migration in the Southern Africa region. So Joseph, we thank you so much for accepting to be a guest at our webinar today. And yeah, see you everyone next month. We also have another interesting session. Thank you, Joseph, and to all our attendees. Bye.
Thank you so much, Andrew.